Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, right here on the Eagles Pinpull Podcast Network. I'm Phil Stiefel, bringing you the fastest 10-minute or less Eagles podcast there is, bringing you news, notes, and my trusted opinions of all things Eagles happening in Eagles Nation. And I ask you a simple question to kick off today's show. Why are so many people in Eagles Nation so scared of the New York Giants, who we will be playing? It's Thursday. October 17th. We're a few days away from our next game against the Giants, and everyone's scared. Now, I know we have problems as an Eagles team. I know there's issues, and we haven't lit the world on fire since week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. But I did on Wednesday a little dive into the Giants and who they are, and I'm just not scared of the Giants, and I don't know why so many people are. You gotta stop Dexter Lawrence, and you gotta stop Malik Nabers. Now, we've got Quinion Mitchell who could stop Neighbors. Now, I'm a little concerned about Dexter Lawrence, but we'll get there. We'll get to all this conversation in a second. But I looked at each game. I looked at the teams they've beaten and held to, low total points, and I just don't see it. I see a team that's led by Daniel Jones, who's got averaging 223 yards a game, thrown 6 touchdowns in 6 games, 4 interceptions, been sacked, 4 times, not many. They've lost Thomas, their star tackle, for the rest of the season. Malik Nabers is still technically in concussion protocol. We'll address that in a second. Devin Singletary has been hurt. They just don't scare me. The Eagles defense got on track last week against the Browns. And this is another game this week where they should be able to just continue to stack good performances. I mean, the Giants give up about 20.2 points per game, and they only score about 16 a game. I just don't see why we're scared about them. So I want to take a look at the Giants practice report today from Wednesday's practice. Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence did not practice. I expect them to play. That's probably more precautionary. Andrew Thomas is obviously out for the year. Malik Nabers is still in concussion protocol, but kind of practiced in a limited, non-contact way, kind of like Devontae Smith leading up to his return last week. Devin Singletary, practice limited. He's got a groin issue. I expect him to be back. Darius Slayton and Wayndell Robinson, they're all limited. I mean, pretty much 90% of their wide receiver core and offensive weapons, period, are limited in practice. This Giants offense does not put fear outside of Malik Nabers into me. Daniel Jones, we know who he is. Not very good. There's reasons. There are rumors floating around that the Giants are looking into, Matthew Stafford and quarterbacks right now. I'm not scared of the Giants offense, and I'm confident that the Eagles defense can shut them down, can lock them down. I'm looking at things here. Dexter Lawrence, I mean, I guess we could be concerned about their defense, but let me look at this Giants offense that we have to stop. They put up 6 points against the Vikings. They put up 18 against the Commanders. They only got 21 against the Browns, and, we put up 20, whatever. They put up 15 against the dreadful Cowboys. They did have one solid offensive output of 29 points, beating Seattle in Seattle. And they scored 1 touchdown last week against the Bengals, and the Bengals are dreadful. That 17-7 loss last week, I know, I'm not trying to compliment them, but that was a 10-7 game the entire game. That's how bad the Bengals are. They scored a touchdown late in the game to seal it. They just don't scare me offensively, and I'm confident that our defense continue to stack good performances and build it. They don't give up the ball much, but they also don't create a lot of turnovers. On defense, you've got to stop Dexter Lawrence. That is the key. He's got 7 of the team's 26 sacks so far. Brian Burns has 3 of them. He was their big addition in the offseason, the big trade with Carolina. Now, I am concerned about stopping Dexter Lawrence with Jordan Mailata out. Fred Johnson got all the first-team reps in practice on Wednesday as the left tackle. We discussed which way they would go, that or Mekhi Becton sliding him over or Tyler Steen or whatever. When Kellen Moore spoke on Tuesday, we heard him say Fred Johnson's name first. So Fred Johnson is going to be the first up in this spot to try to fill the role. And, Dexter Lawrence and the defensive line, 26 sacks. They're in the top in the league in getting sacks. We do need to protect Jalen Hurts. But this defense, they give up only 197 passing yards a game. But they give up over 115 rushing yards a game. This is Saquon Barkley's return back to New York to face his old team that basically he didn't want to leave the Giants, Saquon Barkley. He kind of was forced to his hand, or they forced his hand. This is going to be a game where we dominate with the ground game as long as Fred Johnson or whoever fills in at left tackle does their job and at least fills in, adequately. So I just don't. I ask, and I'm going to say, I promote Trending in the AM, my morning show on the STT Sports Network, linked below. Come onto the show tomorrow on Thursday morning or Friday morning. Tell me, why are you scared? I think Eagles Nation is more scared because of the lack of consistent performances that we've put forward. Just like everyone's, the Browns' elite defense. Everyone's talking about the Giants' elite defense. They're 2-4. How elite can you be when you are 2-4? So I think there's a little bit of unnecessary fear right now. Eagles practice report from Wednesday, brought to you by me because I don't have any sponsors. Dallas Goedert and Jordan Mailata obviously didn't practice, both trending and not playing. Milton Williams didn't practice at all. Maybe that's why he hasn't been. He's been on the practice report a few times this year. Maybe he's not 100%. That's why we haven't seen. Limited participant was Darius Slay, which is interesting because it seems like he's trending to play, even though he hates playing at MetLife Stadium. Jelix Hunt, Aaron Burks were limited participants, and they have been a lot throughout the year. Sidney Brown and Nia Smith, full participants in practice, and the practice window was open for Albert O. I don't even try to say his last name, Aqua, whatever. They opened his practice window. So now with Dallas Goedert being out, just like last year, we might see some Albert O on the field. You got to talk Dallas Goedert's got to find a way to stay healthy someday in his life. We really got to work on finding and addressing the tight end 2 position. Grant Calcaterra had a nice game, but he disappeared last year when Dallas Goedert was hurt. Albert O did nothing last year. Dallas Goedert, since the 2019 season, has missed a full season of football. 17 games over the last 5 years. And now more piling up on it this year. We got to figure that situation out there because Dallas Goedert, for as elite as he is, just can't stay healthy. I saw somebody comment when I tweeted about this earlier in the day on Wednesday that maybe they got to keep Dallas Goedert as their tight end 2 and go out and find a tight end 1, not a tight end 2. I know everybody's hyped about the Penn State tight end. We'll see how that happens. There was a lot of talk on Wednesday about the return for Saquon Barkley to New York and the importance to it. Saquon Barkley saying he doesn't think he'll be booed, but he knows he'll get the crowd riled up. I would love to see a very strong performance from Saquon Barkley, not just to build off because he wasn't so, unsuccessful last week against the Browns, but just for him, it would just be good for his confidence. Just get that revenge out of the way. So that's that as well. Nick Sirianni spoke to the media, didn't really give much. It was one of the most boring and useless things. All he really did was quote Michael Jordan and John Wooden in his press conference. Definitely did say Slay's trending up. Dallas Goedert, probably not. And Jordan Mailata is out for a little while. It was just basically not too much. And he did talk about maybe he gives the media a little too much information, and that's why there's sometimes some problems. But again, this is the Eagles Checkdown, the Eagles Pinpoll Podcast Network. Please come to Trending in the AM at 8 a.m. Thursday, Friday, every day of the week. And give me your thoughts on why everyone's so scared. Again, my opinion, this podcaster's opinion is simply we're scared not of the Giants, but of our own team not being able to succeed. So we should be focused more on our team fixing their wrongs versus worrying about what the Giants can and cannot do. Because I think on paper, pretty much position by position, we are the better team. Guys, again, I am Phil Sleffy. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. Trending in the AM, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30, STT Sports Network. This is the Eagles Checkdown. Right here on the Eagles Pinpoll Podcast Network, bringing you the fastest under 10-minute podcast in the business in Eagles Nation. I appreciate your time, guys. Go Birds, and bubbles up to you.